Well, this is quite a special moment in our time here. Well, it's probably not going to come of great relevance to all, but it's going to come of relevance to the YouTube site. Because 14th of February, 20 years ago, can you imagine, 20 years ago today, well, 20 years ago, Valentine's Day, was when YouTube was created and released worldwide onto the internet. 20 years ago, YouTube got released onto the internet. And now, millions, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of people now use it 20 years later. Astonish one as it might. It comes with people of all ages use the YouTubing network. And it's quite, and I'm pretty certain the usage of you people using YouTube is probably likely going to continually increase. So what I want to say and issue out in this very video is a special happy 20th birthday to YouTube, a happy 20th anniversary for standing a good long 20 years onto the internet. You've weathered 2 decades now. Well done for impressively weathering the storm for this long. Well done indeed. Honestly. And I can remember the YouTube website from the time when I can remember it 20 years ago even. I mean, because in a few months I'm going to be 24 years of age now. I think most of us now who are watching remember YouTube. Even young adults from 20 years ago, now in their 40s, 50 odd now, or maybe 40 now, or maybe latter 30s, from, teenagers from this time. I think they're almost certainly likely going to remember when YouTube was new and initially first released worldwide on the worldwide internet. So really, it's quite an impressive achievement, really, that YouTube is now still here 20 years later. And 20 years ago to this very day, 14th of February of 2005, or 2005 as one might say, to now 14th of February 2025, 20 years later, it's still here to this day, going through many updates and many structural website changes over the last 20 years. And it was around about, I think it was 2018, it was well over 10 years after YouTube was on the platform, or became on the website, interweb browsing platform, that it enabled a live streaming feature. And I mean, I never was, I have to admit, until about 5 years ago, when I started following a couple at this point, I was never really into live streaming content. I was not one little bit into live streaming content back in 2018 until after I encountered a couple of 2 years later. And all the rest of it. I could just never get my head around it. But about a year or so after I following not just a couple, like one couple, but other YouTubers doing live streaming content, after I watched, this was before years before Graham, Fiona and Trevor, and before I became even familiar of Yankee Wally, who was, I think she did live streaming content in this time 4 or 5 years ago, but her channel got taken down about 3.5, 4 years ago, sadly, 2021 that was. I didn't even know her by this point. It wasn't until 2023 I became familiar, but that's beside the point. Up until that point, I could just never once get my head around live streaming content. Now I'm just stuck with it. Sometime after encountering It was a couple I followed, and that was what gave me the original incentive to do live streaming. But I tried it on an old computer of mine. It sadly didn't work. It unfortunately did not work. But with the current HP that I've had now for what, just over about 14 months now, which I've had for about 14 months, live streaming works extremely well on it. Not once have I had problems with live streaming on it. So live streaming works out perfectly fine on the HP laptop. So, you know, so live streaming, I'm stuck with it. I'd live on a live stream. I'd sleep with a live stream. I'd eat a live stream. I love live streaming, as most of you know. All that, you know. So YouTube's gone through an impressive journey in the last 20 years, you know, but yes, it is only as truth has things, what you've seen as evidently proven from the content I very much provide, that I'm just smitten with live streaming, or that. Which I attempted live streaming firstly in 2021. And I did try doing it again in 2023, but it didn't work. But then got my head round it in 2024, and I'm just stuck with it now. I'm completely stuck with it. And they generally do very well, the live streams of mine. I was not expecting them. My real debut attempt in 2024, I was not expecting it to turn out very well, but the response was overwhelming, and my goodness was I surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. And you know, and then I did another live streaming thanking everybody for the support and the success of the live stream. And you know what? And then that was when the inspirational live streams began, and it's just been going on ever since. It's going on ever since now, which I do generally on a weekly basis, live streaming, and all that, with the addition to a twice monthly podcast series too. But you know, I cannot begin to describe how pleasantly pleased I am with it. I'm so pleasantly pleased. And YouTube, you've done so well over 20 years, the journeys, twists and turns you've gone through. I'm proud, and I'm staying with you for the long run. I cannot imagine leaving the YouTubing platform with the support I get. Which, I mean, one doesn't have to support my content, but through their own self-interest, the support that I receive as a result of that, and how they take to the content I provide, one does, and of course, you know, and all that, and other YouTubers I follow, the content, some might be a bit defunct now, some content channels, but the ones I currently follow that are still going to this day, I mean, if it wasn't for you, the YouTubing platform, and if it wasn't for the people who invented YouTube, just wait a moment, I need to quickly look something up. Oh, it'll be very, very quick before the battery dies. Sorry for the language. Right. Who invented YouTube? If it wasn't for Jawed Karim, Steve Chen, and another one, I forgot the name, but the phone's out of battery now, so I've got to get it charged up. If it wasn't for the three people who founded YouTube, I'm sure there wouldn't be so many, I'm sure I wouldn't have found the YouTubers who I follow today and other YouTubers that I followed over the years from when I first became familiar of it. If it wasn't for you, I never would have known of it. We, a lot of us, all users, we never would have become familiar of YouTube. So, it's an utter thanks for bringing the world together. In one way or another, YouTube has brought the world together, especially when it comes to the live streaming content or whatever content one provides. So many around the world could just watch it in real time. But the only downside I really need to talk about here regarding YouTube is the lack of dealing with the excess consumption of trolling. That's the real downside with YouTube. More needs to be done to address the excess trolling consumption issues on YouTube. I mean, seriously, more needs to be done to combat the trolling consumption. That's painfully consumed the YouTube social media site. More needs to be done to combat it. But other than that, I would never leave YouTube. Not one little bit could I leave it. And if I knew certain YouTubers who were leaving YouTube, be it rail enthusiasts, bus enthusiasts, museum enthusiasts, steam rally, vintage organ, historic commercial classic car, vintage bus enthusiasts, Graham, Fiona, Trevor, if I knew any of them, or Siapa, Hutch, Mel, Annabelle, Gregopedia, if I knew any of them were leaving the YouTubing platform, their followers can certainly always come to me if they ever wanted to. Because, I'm always happy to take on board other subscribed supporters from defunct channels. I'm always happy to do that in every way. So first and utmost foremost, happy 20th birthday, YouTube, and thank you for bringing the world together. More could be done to combat the trolling issues, but other than that, thank you and congratulations on your 20th anniversary. 2005 to 2025. Happy 20th birthday. Thank you all for watching, and wishing you only all the best for the next 20 years for YouTube, and hopefully I'm still going to be YouTubing. I really do hope I'm still going to be YouTubing in 20 years' time. I seriously hope so. And I hope YouTube will still be here in another 20 years. Fingers crossed. Thank you most kindly, sincerely for watching. And here's to another 20 years for YouTube.